Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to create a stylish calendar card using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let's get started. Here we have a div element with the class calendar. Next we have a div element with the class calendar body. Then we have a span element with the class month name. It contains the placeholder text month. Next we have a span element with the class day name. It contains the placeholder text day. Next we have a span element with the class date number. It contains the placeholder value 00. And the last we have a span element with the class year and the placeholder is 000. Now let's set CSS. Here we have a universal selector. We set the margin and the padding to 0. Box sizing is set to border box and the font family is set to sans serif. Now let's style the body element. Here we set the min height to 100 ph so that it takes up the full height of the viewport. Display is set to flex. Justify content and align item is set to center. And the background is set to dark blue color. Now let's style the calendar container. Here the position is set to relative and the width is set to 260 pixels. Now let's set before schedule element. Here the content is set to an empty string. Position is set to absolute. Width and height is set to 80 pixels. And we add a box shadow effect. And we set the border radius to 50% so that it makes the shadow element circular. Now let's target the calendar body class. Here we set the display to flex. Justify content and align item is set to center. Flex direction is set to column so that it centers the content vertically and horizontally. Background is set to RGBA. It adds a semi-transparent background, white background. Next we add a backdrop filter. Here the blur is set to 15 pixels. Next we set the border bottom to 6 pixels solid and adds a blue border. Next we have a border right. Border right is set to 1 pixel solid and it adds an RGBA. Next we set the border radius to 8 pixels and we set a box shadow. It adds a soft box shadow effect for depth. Now let's target the month name. Here we set the color to white. Background is set to blue shade. Width is set to 100% so that it takes the full width of the container. Font size is set to 1.6 m. Text ln is set to center. Font weight is set to 400. Padding is set to 5 pixel and 0. It adds some vertical padding. Border top left radius is set to 8 pixel and border top right radius is set to 8 pixel so that it round the top corner. Now let's target the day name class. Here the color is set to white. Font size is set to 1.2 em. Font weight is set to 400 and the margin top is set to 20 pixels so that it adds space above the day name. Now let's target the date number class. Here the color is set to white. Font size is set to 6 em. Font weight is set to 600. Line height is set to 1.2 em so that it adjusts the spacing between the line of text. Now let's target the year class. Here the text color is set to white. Font size is set to 1.2 em. Font weight is set to 400 and the margin button is set to 20 pixels so that it adds space below the year. Now let's run JavaScript. Here we create a new date object and use the getDate method to retrieve the current day of the month. Next, we create a new date object and use the getFullYear method to retrieve the current year. Next, we create a new date object and use the toLocalString method to retrieve the full name of the current date of the week, that is, for example, Monday, Thursday, etc. Next, we create a new date object and use the toLocalString method to retrieve the full name of the current month, that is January, February, March, April, and so on. Here we select the month name in the HTML document and set the inner HTML to the value month name variable. Next, we select the class day name in the HTML document and set it inner HTML in the value to the value of day name variable, which contain the full name of the current day. Next, we select the element with the class date number in the HTML document and set the inner HTML to the value of day number variable. Next, we select the element with the class year and set it inner HTML to the value of year variable so that it contains the current year. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more web development tutorials.